There is no place in the world, and I mean the entire world, that I would rather be than right here with you guys. We have something very, very exciting planned. And it's true that I'm a big believer in that preparation breeds confidence, and I do prepare. But I also know now something that I didn't used to know, and that is this. While all the preparation and all the doing and all the getting your ducks in a row is very important, it's not enough. Okay, so I hope I'm not going to scare anyone away in the first 5 minutes. But what I'm getting at is this. This isn't going to be super, spiritual or anything like that today, although we might see some sprinkles. But I think we all believe that there's something else happening here. And so the grinding, the doing, the preparing, all very important. And yet we still have to relinquish control to allow the light in so that we're connected to the world of miracles, blessings, and manifestations. And that's the consciousness that I want us all to connect to here today. Right. So grinding, working, surrendering, allowing, receiving. You dig? All right, guys, we're gonna get absolutely nuts today. Um, which view should we go with? Should we do the spots like a little up close and personal? I think we'll roll with everybody on. Brett, what do you think? We'll do that. All right. For now. All right, guys. So big topic today, yes? Success to significance. Wow. We're gonna have some fun. We're also, guys, in addition to the content and the engagement and so forth, we want to even increase the amount of fun that we're going to have today. So we're going to do some giveaways, um, all sorts of surprises and gifts and so forth. And we have a big surprise near the end, so make sure you stay on. How do you win some giveaways? Just be present, participate, and let's have some fun. And we're going to give some gifts to MVPs, people that engage the most, and so forth. Okay. So from success to significance, and I'll switch off a little bit in regards to the views and so forth. When it comes to success, guys, most of you know my story, but I know we have a lot of new faces on here today, which is beautiful. Little background, Cliff Notes version. If you haven't read our book yet, The Reinvention Formula. So prior to the new Craig, my new life that you're looking at, I had spent 13 years on Wall Street right before the pandemic. And Wall Street, what a journey. Learned a lot, really became a man there, understood discipline. But ultimately, it got to a point where little by little, I felt more disconnected to that particular mission. Even though I was having a lot of material success, meaning monetary gains and stuff like that, and things, as many of you come to realize on part of the journey, is that none of those things that are external can ever create lasting fulfillment. Now, I want to be very, very clear about something. Unapologetically, we should all desire nice things on the journey. What's a nice thing? Is it a Rolex? Is it a nice apartment? Is it a nice gym? Whatever your thing is, absolutely. Those are nice to have. But don't ever think for 1 second that those things will be the key to your happiness. They're temporary moments of joy. Okay. So now that we know that, now we can start to understand what significance means. Spoiler alert. All of us are here for a big, big reason, right? We're here to actualize and identify our unique gifts that only individually we have, and to share them with the world in a big, proactive way to make a difference and to help people in a way that only us can do that. Now, this isn't a nonprofit, right? I want to address all object. I could hear some of the eye rolls. So, to be clear, when you're operating from the consciousness, and when I say the word consciousness, I want to break down everything today, awareness, right? When you're operating from that to share with no condition, right? With no agenda to take your gifts and share them, you will help a lot of people reveal their own individual unique light. And in return, you'll end up revealing more of your own. And when you reveal more of your own light, meaning you're more connected to that endless energy, that's where you can expect blessings, miracles, money, significance, impact, contribution, best relationships, fun, fulfillment, and everything in between, right? So I just want to, I like to nip in the butt all potential objections. So one of the reasons why we're here is to identify what we do so uniquely. And the gifts aren't ours. We're the managers of them that were given to us. We have to identify and actualize those with the world. So you guys know I'm very engaging. If you asked me this question 4 years ago, I would have a different answer than I do today. I want you guys to be brave, and I want you guys to know that there is no safer place in the world than right here in this vessel with all of you right now. Who here is currently most likely not sharing their unique individual gifts with the world in a big, big, big way? Who is not probably doing that right now? Okay. Love you guys. So there's that. And I love the vulnerability. And thank you guys for being brave and having the courage to identify that. Wow. Overwhelmingly. Good. You're in the right place. Okay. Tammy, thank you for that. Sean. Okay. Danielle, great to see you. See a lot of new faces here. This is great. Great to meet you guys. By the way, I should indicate that I'm very, very weird and strange, but you'll see that throughout. Just wanted, not to surprise you with anything. All right. So that means that you guys are in exactly the right place here. Because whether you're having financial success or not as much as you'd like, one thing seems to be certain, and that is that you're not revealing enough of your light. You're dimming your light. You're not giving the world an opportunity to feel your gifts. Okay. Thank you, Kat. All right, guys. This is unbelievable. We couldn't be more on the same page. So we're going to teach today. Obviously, we want to identify what success is and what it's not, but ultimately, how to transform a life of coasting or underachieving or success to a life of significance. And we're going to share the know-how as well. Don't be alarmed, right? So this is not going to be one of those webinars, and I've seen them where, we talk about this big idea, but then if you actually want the tools, you got to pay for this. We might share something later if people want to go deeper, but we're going to get very specific here today. At the very minimal, I want to just do the best job possible to connect you guys to this wisdom so that everybody is just showing up to the world in a different consciousness after this. All right. So first and foremost, after I identified what my gifts were, after the Wall Street thing and the pandemic happened and I connected and I was able to receive those downloads, it occurred to me that this wisdom, spirituality, personal development isn't just a hobby for me. Those are my gifts. I love them, obsessed with them, and I could share them in a way that people resonate with. And so I started my CLS brand, no connections, no following, no celebrity friends, but felt very connected to this. And I practically came up with a strategy to create 10 different ways, kind of like a 10-lane highway, to share them with the world. Speaking, coaching, TED Talk, book deal, podcast, etc. And then I started leaning in, putting out content, left Wall Street for good. And this message really resonated with the world and it started to take off. From speaking all over the world, including the United Nations, to writing our Wall Street Journal USA Today bestselling book, The Reinvention Formula, to the podcast, The CLS Experience, which is a 0.05% global podcast in the world, coaching, speaking all over, all the things. Just got married 2 months ago, ran a bunch of marathons, all of that. And something that I want to unpack from that, guys, is the mission was to share this with no condition. And the byproduct was helping a lot of people and making a lot of money doing so. So it's important that you guys know that that is important to me and it's going to be important for you guys as well. All right. So let's get into it. And if you guys are having fun already, let me know in the chats. Just write, I dig, or maybe I don't dig. This way I know I have to even take it up another level. But I just want to make sure that we're having some fun right now. And there's a great, okay, great. Hell yeah. Love you guys very much. Rose, great to meet you. Love that. Nick D, awesome. Okay, guys. My favorite marathon, Sean, is the New York City one. I ran it 4 times, ran it 2 weeks ago, and there's just no energy quite like the New York City Marathon. All right, let's get into it. Understanding the difference between success and significance, right? So let's think of traditional success metrics based upon my experience, and I know a lot of people can relate with this. You guys are absolutely on fire in the chats. This is going to be tough to give a couple MVPs to. I just love this, and I just wanted to take a second and acknowledge you guys. All right. Traditional success metrics. And if any of you guys, if something comes to mind, feel free to engage, drop it in the chat. Financial achievements, right? Career milestones, titles at the corporate job, accolades. See, here's the thing. This will typically lead to the external validation loop. Success often defined by others. And this poses a very serious problem. And guys, please know that I'm only going to speak about stuff that I have life experience from. I don't claim to be an expert in this, but I did experience it for myself. And based upon whenever I speak all over, I know a lot of people connect to this, right? Rose, beautiful. Rose on fire. So here are some of the pitfalls of how society has programmed us to think of traditional success. Let me know if you've experienced this. A lack of inner fulfillment despite external achievements. How many of you guys have worked so hard for a specific goal, a title, a promotion, a new car, or something, only to realize in 3 weeks the new car smell is gone, the promotion title wore off, or it fizzled in regards to your overall excitement? It's a constant chase for more, let's be honest. More money, more recognition, more acknowledgement, more status. But none of this stuff actually addresses deeper needs, does it? Chats are unbelievable, Brittany. So it's that arrival fallacy, right? Believing that happiness comes after achieving the goal. Here's the thing, guys. We all think that we're going to light up our soul once we get the thing, right? The irony of that is it never happens. We want to light up the soul now. And then, interestingly enough, we end up manifesting the thing that we thought we needed to get to that next level. So now that we've taken a second to identify and define traditional success, let's define significance, shall we? Nick D is on fire too. You're all on fire. Especially you, Marianne. All right. So let's talk about defining significance, guys. Let's bridge the gap now between the two, success, significance. Core characteristics. Contribution over accumulation, right? So in other words, it's not how much we're attracting, but it's the quality of the impact that we're making. Focusing on how your life impacts others. This is a big one of my personal favorites. Alignment with your purpose and your values, also known as living authentically. Ooh. Let's pause for just a second right there. It actually took me 35 years to live an authentic life. Better late than never. And now I'm almost authentic to a fault. What you see is what you get. How many of you struggle? Let me know in the chats if you're feeling brave and courageous. How many of you struggle with really living a true, authentic life? Tammy, Sean, Maura. Interesting. I'm very curious about this. Interestingly enough, guys, I'm very spiritual, but we're going to keep it somewhere in the middle today. One of the most spiritual things we could ever do is live an authentic life. Antonio, love you. Alignment with your purpose and values. Building a legacy, or maybe just leaving the world better than we found it. Would that be important to some of you? I imagine so. And not in an ego type of way, because this is tricky. Not so you can say, oh, I want everybody to talk about me after I'm gone, because that would be connected to ego consciousness, and that's not sustainable. But just the simple fact that you made the most of your time, you made a contribution, and you impacted others, which creates a ripple effect. And because you lived authentically, other people are revealing much more light and changing the world, right? And I think there's a bunch of coaches on here, teachers. Not everybody is, of course, but is there anything really more gratifying than when you help someone else have a breakthrough and you see them start to buy in and do it, and now they're doing the damn thing in the world? It's the best feeling. That's what we want to connect to, right? And so let's talk about some of the emotional rewards of significance. A deep sense of purpose and joy, feeling connected to something larger than ourselves. Purpose, it's a good word, it's a buzzword. For any of you guys that, or probably do a whole masterclass about this, but as we get near year's end, I like to do a big journal entry that's specific for reflection, but also setting the tone for the new year. And something that I found to be helpful was creating a word or two that kind of set the tone. So if you're finding it challenging to find a word, I can share one with you. That's always a good idea. And that is for 2025 to live more purposeful, more intentional. All right, guys? How do we identify the difference between success and significance? What if we're not sure about what we're doing, or if we're at the right job, or if this is the right lane or arena for us? Because I've been a gladiator in the wrong arena more times than I'd like to admit. How do we make that distinction? Success is about, what can I achieve? What's in it for me? It's a focus on personal gain, also known as the desire to receive for the self alone, ego consciousness. Significance is about, what can I contribute? How can I serve others? It's a focus on a collective impact. I'm going to give you guys some homework because I want to make today very tangible, which is very important to me. I know if I ever attend something like this, I want stuff I could take away from. But we're not going to focus too much on it right now because I want to make the most of the time. But this is good for you guys to write down and take with you. We'll call it the significance audit. Reflect on your accomplishments. Which made you happiest and why? Ask yourself, if I could only be remembered for one thing, what would it be? And lastly, write down one area of your life where you want to transition from success to significance. If nothing else, guys, I think that Though that exercise right there, probably worth the time spent today because that will generate the questions, which every time we ask a question, we create a vessel or open up a door. And when there's questions, it's equal amount of energy that can fulfill those desires, right? Rose, you're on fire. Nicole, great to see you. So these are things to really connect to later today, guys. And I want you to reach out to Brittany or the team, and we'd love to hear what you come up with. Okay. Nick D's on fire. All right. That exercise right there, huge. We're going to shift gears for a second. Are we having fun? But also learning. There's got to be a blend there. Let me know in the chats. Hell yeah. Love it. Learning and fun. Okay, good. Cool. All right. I want to talk about the reinvention formula that was specifically curated for today. A little bit different than what I talk about in the book. And I want to talk about 3 pillars of transformation. You guys like transformations? Like to transform? Me too. That's why I run these marathons. There's always something different that creates a transformation. And guys, by the end of this call, you're going to be on your way to ascending to new levels. And I don't want you guys to want to be anybody else. I don't want to be the next Tony Robbins or whoever. I want you guys to be the top of you, the top of Antonio, the top of Rose, the top of Maura, the top of Brenda, the top version of you. That's what the world needs. That's what the endless energy, creator, God, divine, Jesus, whatever your thing is, wants you to become. The highest version of you. All right, the reinvention formula, 3 pillars of transformation. Let's write these down. Let's have some fun. Let's get nuts. Pillar number 1, clarity of purpose. What is purpose? The unique combination of your passions, strengths, and values. I wanted to define that for you guys today. The unique combination of your passions, strengths, and values. Purpose. Bang. Now we're getting somewhere. It's the North Star that guides your actions. The $1 billion question. How to find your purpose. This I get asked probably more than anything else. All right. Big one. Reflect on moments when you felt most alive and fulfilled. What were you doing? Who were you with? Identifying reoccurring themes in your passions and your strengths. What are the commonalities behind the different things that you're really good at and you love to do? Ask yourself, what problem do I feel called to solve in the world? I'm going to give you guys a quick exercise because I'm feeling frisky. You could do this on your own. If you really want, you could drop it in the chats and we would love that. But I know this will take a minute. Write a 1-sentence purpose statement that aligns with your values. For example, to inspire and empower others to unlock their full potential. Just an example, but you're not married to this. This is to generate the momentum right now, get the juices going, and to be a little bit more connected. Nick, I love that. Feel free to use it and make it your own, whatever's good for you. So, guys, and I know we're moving along here. Write all these down so you have them after the masterclass. Write a one sentence purpose statement that aligns with your values. Don't overthink it. Let it flow through you. You can't do this wrong. It's how you feel. Cat, beautiful. Reflect on moments when you felt most alive and fulfilled, Sean. Absolutely. All right, guys. So, pillar two, this is a big one. And I see a lot of people get to this point and then they have trouble moving forward from here. The courage to pivot. Ooh, could probably do a whole masterclass just on that. The courage to pivot. So let's think about why change is necessary. Growth requires stepping out of our comfort zone. That's a fact. The fear of failure and judgment of others often holds people back based upon my experience. I see so many people that wouldn't mind failing if no one knew about it. They're almost more concerned about what people might think than the actual failure itself. Very, very good tool to overcome that. Ask me offline, or text us. By the way, you guys in the free texting community that we have, we give out wisdom and nuggets throughout the week. It's totally free. Bert, you could drop the number in the chats if you don't mind. Just text 917-634-3796. And text the word juicy nugget so that I know that you heard it here. All right. The courage to pivot. Real growth, real expansion, real ascension for your next level requires you stepping out of your comfort zone. It's meant to be challenging to showcase how bad do you want it. The fear of failure and judgment holds us back, but how to embrace courage? How about I love a good reframe failure as feedback and a stepping stone to growth. I would even argue if you're not failing, maybe you're not trying hard enough. Because the more you try new and expansive things, the more you're outside your comfort zone, more than likely you'll have some bumps and bruises or setbacks or failures. But it's not really finite unless you just stop, quit. Okay? Surround yourself with a supportive community that uplifts you. One of the most important things, guys. I have multiple communities. Obviously, we have our CLS membership, right? Over 600 people in there, all about growth, expansion. I'm also in a running community. I have a spirituality community. I love to be around people that have great consciousnesses, good attitudes, and that are very supportive, especially in things that I want to improve upon. It's actually a time machine, cheat code. Love that, Amy. Take small, consistent steps towards change. Best way to do it, guys. That builds momentum. It creates a little bit more confidence, which turns into certainty, right? So if you wanted to go from not running to running a marathon, I wouldn't say sign up for the marathon as your first challenge, right? I would say let's get a 5K. Let's get a 10K in there, 6.2 miles. Let's work our way up. Let's expand that vessel and get ready. But we start building confidence. Guys, I speak from experience, and I'm going to get deep and vulnerable with you. When when Wall Street was really getting dark for me because I really just had no alignment or connection with it. And I didn't take the time to reassess. I wasn't on a webinar like you guys are today. It was scary to pivot and to consider something else, right? That was scary. But I considered what I like to call the COI, the cost of inaction. And for me, continuing down the path that I was, and to be clear, there's a big difference between being alive and living, right? And so I knew, my soul knew that I needed to cultivate the courage to consider a different narrative. And once you begin to do that, don't be surprised how threads begin to be pulled, doors open, relationships, the right people in your life, etc. Always consider, guys, what is the cost of not making this change, of not pivoting, of not giving up something that might be holding you back, right? Maybe it's, food addiction or cigarettes or porn or whatever. It might be comfortable, you might be used to it, and you know you want to change, but you don't have the courage. Well, what is the cost of not making the move? And for those of us guys that are not living in our purpose right now, we're not sharing our gifts with the world and making a difference and making money doing so, we're in the wrong arena. So we have to make it very real for ourselves. And so I wanted to share a mantra with you guys that you can always have in your repertoire and to use at times like this. What if it works out better than I ever imagined? Ooh, doesn't that feel better than what if it doesn't work out? What are people going to think of me? What if it works out better than I imagined? And the last pillar, guys, for this is back to contribution over accumulation. Trust me, I've had the things that don't last. I'd rather contribute and also have the things, but not rely upon them for validation. So we got to shift our focus from what can I get from this to what can I give? Ooh, big difference there. From what can I get, ego consciousness, to what can I give? Significance comes from serving others and creating lasting value. So, how do we start contributing? Well, identify your unique gifts and how they can serve others. Volunteer or mentor to directly impact people's lives. I'm actually going to start mentoring tomorrow night, not paid, at the Kabbalah Center because I feel very called and I've gotten pretty advanced in that spirituality in a short time. And I just want to give back in a way. And so I'm going to go there and mentor some people that are just starting it. Just something that I feel called to. Volunteering, guys. Create a project or an initiative that's aligned with your purpose. You guys, we're also going to do a little Q&A in a little bit. So an example of a project or initiative that's aligned with your purpose, think about like an individual and organization that make impacts through their service. How can we do something similar in our own movie? I challenge you guys that for the rest of today, I want you to think of just one way that you can use your skills or resources to help somebody today in some capacity. Trust me when I tell you guys, This shouldn't be the agenda. I want you to just do that with no expectation. But something powerful and magical will happen on the backside of that because that's just universal laws, just like gravity. If someone jumped out this window behind me, they would go down, not up. Share your skills or knowledge with somebody today that can help them with no agenda other than to just help them. And then also shoot me the team a message and let me know what transpired after that. And guys, I would encourage you right now, if you have some ideas percolating from this conversation so far, how you can help or use your skills or resources, just drop them in the chat just so we can inspire other people on the call. Love that, Susie. Beautiful. Love it, Sean. That's a good nugget right there. What if it works out better than I imagine? Ooh, that's powerful. All right. I wasn't going to add this next section in, guys, when I was preparing for this. So I did the work, as I said I would. I prepared for this. But also, I'm a channel and I allow the downloads to come in. So would it be helpful if I added a section in today's chat about how significance creates wealth, aligning your service with abundance, the paradox of giving and receiving? Does that tickle your fancy? I know we all like money. Yeah. Okay, good, good. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. The paradox of giving and receiving, guys. When you focus on serving others, you create value that naturally attracts wealth because wealth becomes a byproduct of alignment, authenticity, and impact. I want to run that one back because that was one of the biggest things that I learned right when I got going, about 3 months into my new life in CLS. Wealth becomes a byproduct of alignment, authenticity, and impact. And for those of you right now that are like, well, how? Like, I have to, I can't just share all day. I have to generate business. You're limiting yourself. I'm sorry to say. You're not connected to that endless energy with that consciousness. You're limited to what you think you can do. And so I would just ask you to disarm that limiting belief and surrender to the wisdom today. And then obviously take the fruit, leave the peel. Wealth becomes a byproduct of alignment, authenticity, and impact. Let's talk about the science of abundance. Yes? You guys have heard that energy flows where attention goes. But operating from a mindset of service, it fosters creativity and connection. And you see, trust, which is the key to doing big business, trust builds with authenticity, leading to deeper relationships and opportunities. So you guys, you see, one thing that I'm very intentional with what I do is it's not going to be all spiritual. It's not going to be all practical. I try to find the balance of the blend, marry the two, because that's the sweet spot to new levels of ascension in your life. So we talked a lot of practically today, and we're going to continue, but I want to make sure we yank on that spirituality thread because that's really the needle mover, right? So in real world examples, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I coach them. I speak at their events, just starting entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, people that want to pivot. From my experience, entrepreneurs who build very successful businesses, they solve meaningful problems for others. And to piggyback on that, case studies of individuals who aligned with their purpose achieve significantly more financial abundance. I want to run that one back. Case studies have shown that individuals who aligned with their purpose have achieved far greater financial abundance. What does that mean? That means if you have a good job, and I quote, good job, but it has nothing to do with your gifts, you can only get so far in that organization, company, or arena. But if you're aligned to your purpose, there's no ceiling on where you can take that and what you can earn. Think about people like Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. And I'm not talking about a popularity contest. I'm just talking about the impacts that they made on the world. I think it's safe to say they're all very aligned with what they're doing. That was their dream. They loved it. They struggled. They got over the hump. And now these are the richest cats, of all time. But that was the byproduct. That's not why they were in it. Absolutely, Sean. Brenda, my purpose today is to help people go from success to significance. At least turn the corner and have the courage to get started. So, how do we align our service with our income? This would be good to write down, guys. Identify your unique value proposition. What can you offer that solves a real need? And don't be jaded by overconsumption or if there's a big market for it. That just shows you that there is a market for it, right? When I got into this, if I was like, oh, there's so many people that do personal development, I'm too late. Would have never done what we've just done. So, what can you offer that solves a real need? Let's build a mission-driven brand. Position your work as a force for good. Charge appropriately for your impact. Recognize that serving others and earning well are not mutually exclusive. I think someone else needs to hear that. I'm going to run that back. I want you guys to recognize that serving others and earning well are not mutually exclusive. And oh, by the way, if there's any limiting beliefs that you're not an expert in something, as long as you're 10 steps ahead of someone else and you represent the light and they represent the vessel, you can pour into them and you can get paid. Right. Bottom line, guys, some key insights here. Money is energy. We could do a whole other masterclass on that, but money is energy. And when you align with purpose and you serve authentically, financial success follows. I'll give you guys quick homework before we hop into the last section. Think about this one later today, and I want you to connect to this big time. Write this down. Write down one way that you can add value to others while creating financial abundance. And don't be limited in this exercise. Be limitless when you connect to this idea. To write down one way that you can add value to others while creating financial abundance. You guys can create so much more significance in your life and unapologetically have a byproduct of creating more wealth than you've ever made over the next few months. But the consciousness has to be correct in service, in significance, and to share, to help. And I'll teach you how to create massive abundance as a byproduct of that. All right, guys. And we're going to do a little Q&A before we hop off today. Um, you guys are doing great. Temperature check real quick. How we doing? How we feeling? How long we going today, Brett? Is it just about 90 minutes? Okay. What's been your biggest takeaway so far? Let me know in the chats real quick. Sil, great to see you here. Love you. All right, guys. We're just getting warmed up. So, Catherine, great one. Phenomenal. All right, guys. Here's a tangible challenge. Jordan, great to see you. Laney. Let's talk about building your significance plan. I want you guys to think about creating a tangible action plan to transition from success to significance and align that with abundance. So that's something that I added today when I hopped on the call and I was kind of looking at the chats. I wanted to add abundance to success to significance. They're not mutually exclusive, you think? All right. So here are the things that we can do to cultivate this plan. And we're going to talk a lot more about that in about 10 minutes. But writing down your core purpose in a sentence. So I would prompt you with, if I could solve one meaningful problem in the world, what would it be? Identify your unique value. List 3 skills, experiences, or resources that you can leverage to create big impact. Do not worry about where you're at now. Trust me, when I started, 300 Instagram followers, no celebrity friends. If I worried about where I was, I would have never been able to be available for where I was going. So don't worry about where you're at. Identify your unique value, skills, experiences, resources that you can leverage to create impact. So, for example, if you have expertise in marketing, a strong network, and a passion for mentoring, maybe. Here's one to really think about, guys. Step 3, create your legacy goal. Write down a specific measurable goal that aligns with your purpose. What's that big, audacious goal? So maybe it's just for 2025, because I believe we miscalculate how much we can really accomplish in a short amount of time. Maybe it's mentoring 10 aspiring entrepreneurs within the next year and charging them XYZ, whatever. And step 4, guys, is aligning service with income. So let's brainstorm a way where you can monetize your impact authentically. Prompt: how can I create value while serving others? And I'm going to put you guys on the spot right now because I like to push buttons and push the envelope a little bit. I want you guys to not think too hard, but write in the chats one actionable step that you're willing to take in the next 24 hours to move you closer to your legacy goal of significance. Who's brave? You see, there's two steps, guys, to bringing anything to life. There's the desire and then the willingness. So it's not enough to just consume. I want to know that there's a willingness there, and I'm gonna hold you accountable. Beautiful, 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 guys. Thank you for sharing. It's great. I'll give you guys maybe a tip. Maybe you reach out to three people in your network who might benefit from your skills. I think that's something we can all do, right? Danielle, your energy's off the charts. Nick, I'm going to hold you to that, pal. Thank you for sharing. Love it, Jennifer. I love that many of you guys are engaging that weren't in the beginning of the call, and I love to see that. Very powerful. All right, guys. The last step, and then we're going to open up for some Q&A, and we're going to make some announcements. Beautiful, Antonio. Beautiful, Sil. All right, guys. So let's talk about a blueprint to go from success to significance. We all like a good blueprint. These are some things that you can take from the call, regardless of what happens next. I want you guys to chew on this. Number one is to audit your current life, straight up. You can't find what you're not looking for. Okay. Identify areas where you can create impact. Step two, define your legacy goals. What do you want to be remembered for? Visualization exercise. Picture your legacy speech 20 years from now. What does that look like? What are you grateful for having accomplished? Number three, leverage your platform for impact. Use your network, skills, and resources to create change. And number four, which will tie into a couple announcements in a little bit, very important, guys, commit unwaveringly to continuous growth. Lifelong learning and reinvention fuel significance. We have to dedicate time weekly to personal development. I want to say something, guys. This is pretty. The stock market is nothing more than an inflation-induced holding tank. And while it's good, You cannot consistently make 20 to 1 returns on your picks and money. But you know where you can make 20 to 1 returns? If you bet on yourself. That's what I did 4 years ago. Everything changed. And that's what I want you guys to do here today. All right, guys. When I was thinking with the team, how can we create the law of continuity from this webinar today? We're thinking about how can we set people up to go a little bit deeper to finish the year on a bang so that 2025 is yours for the taking. And so we created a 4-week to reinvention sprint. Be very, 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 very affordable, guys. And we're going to showcase 4 things in 4 sessions, 4 hours, 4 weeks in a row. Evaluate where you're currently at on a very deep level. Goal set, where do you want to be? And I will help you with that. Number 3, plan. Steps to get there, the actions to take. This is what I needed when I started. And number 4, execution. To help accountable and get after it. And so if any of you guys wanted to go a little bit deeper or wanted that extra push and accountability, getting ready for year's end, we created a little something. Like I said, it's the most affordable thing we ever created. We just want to help with this. And we dropped it in the chats, guys. There's also a payment plan. Don't let money be the reason why you don't do this, you know? We're only going to take a certain amount of people because we want this to be an intimate incubator. We want to really help and go deep on this. This is what I need. So that's that. I want to open it up, guys, for a little bit of Q&A. I want you to get a little access, make me sweat. Any questions on anything that we talked about, anything you'd like to share, anything on what we just talked about, see a bunch of you signing up, anything at all. This is a great opportunity to just ask some questions or get some access. Be brave. Have the courage. Who has a favorite nugget from today?
Hey, Craig, I actually want to kick it off with a question.
What?
I've like read your book and all the things, and I've known you for a little while, but I was curious when you were making the decision to leave Wall Street, because like Ryan, my husband and I, we've made like hard decisions in our life when we're leaving something behind and moving forward, but that's really hard. Like, how did you know it was the right time, or was there like something that happened? Like, what caused that?
Beautiful question. Here's the thing, guys. It's never the perfect time, right? It's not the perfect time to get married, to start a business, from what I understand, to have a kid, although I can't relate to that in the human form just yet, but my brother's my best friend. But you feel a tug at your soul. Like this is something that we're supposed to be doing. And not to sound corny, because this is a quote that you guys have probably heard before, but if you really think about it on a deep level, it's so beautiful. And you have to not be afraid to give up good to go for great. And on the outside, my life was pretty good. Pretty girlfriend, making money, all that stuff, but I was empty inside. And I felt tug that I was here for something much more to share with the world. And by creating that white space and being the channel to get those downloads, it occurred to me that personal development was my thing to start sharing. And everything else we'd figure out after that. And then you have that moment, imposter syndrome. Can I do this? It's a saturated market. It's too late. I'm too old. Have you heard that before? It's never too late and you're never too old. And it's a saturation market just means that there's a market for it. You got to be brave. And I know maybe that's not the sexiest answer, guys, because you want something a little bit more finesse. But if you're on this webinar today and you feel called, like there's something more out there, you got to be brave. And again, I would just consider, what's the cost of inaction? Just coasting, underachieving. I could tell you the biggest price of all is the price of regret. And from what I understand, from speaking to a lot of people later in life or even reading the book, The Five Regrets of Dying, is the number one regret of the dying is that they didn't live an authentic life and live life on their terms and really go for the dream in their heart. So you have to identify what it is first and then have the courage and hopefully have someone hold you accountable too. Great question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marianne. You,
Hi. So,
you,
as you know, I just pivoted Craig, and I just want to share that with everybody. I just left a good job that provided everything because this has been a repeated lesson for me. And I've just had a calling to do something else, and I've pushed it away, like thinking that I wasn't enough and things like that. And then all of a sudden, it came to me like I'm not fulfilled just because I have a nice car, I own a home, I've raised my kids. Like it's not fulfilling me in this job if I'm not making a difference where I know I can make a difference. So being able to now identify that I had the and that reckoning, I had the in an instant like this, I was done responsibly, of course, and in integrity, because the universe will give back to us what we do, though explaining to them so I can leave the space better than I left it as well. And that's how I served them in the leaving of it. And now what's been provided for me, I feel, is just openings of different opportunities. And just like, I know in which I will most likely be in your 100% be in your 4-week class, because even though we have a one-on-one session, that this is going to be a strategic plan. I've been doing it myself, though sometimes I come across some uncertainties, right? And I need to bounce ideas, and that's where you've been really great with coaching me is what I feel. So now having that strategic plan, because I have my dailies that I'm doing. Where can I serve here? How can I make a difference? And identifying them and actually picking up the phone and making appointments with people to make those differences or see things where I could support them in doing their business or their job or whatever they're up to. And all of a sudden, things are starting to happen fast, and I don't want to get overwhelmed. And I want to be, not pulled back, but just reined in my focus in how I'm going to serve and not get off track. So I'm really glad that you're putting that out there.
good problem to have, right? So I love the share. Um,
But it
well,
wasn't always that problem, right? It was being stuck.
yeah, yeah. And so, look, guys, even by just raising your hand right now, you're awakening a desire, and that desire opens a door. And now the equal amount of energy can fulfill that desire. So whether you signed up for the 4 week or you do something, that's the first part is awakening a desire. And I don't mean this on a practical level, like, yeah, you're taking some steps. On a spiritual level, once a desire is awakened, now that there's a new consciousness behind that. So in regards to where you're at, yes, no is a complete sentence, and we have to be very selective, right? We can't say yes to everything. And it's something really fun that we get to work on together because you were brave enough to let go of something that was good to be available for something that was great and more significant. Great to see you. Love you. All right, guys, this is great. Keep them coming. Cheryl and Alan, and then Danielle.
Hi.
Hey,
Awesome.
guys.
Awesome
Great
as
to see you.
always. My hair looks on point today too, right?
It does. You look good.
Jed and I got the same haircut going, so we're all good. Hey, just like real quick there, Craig, is obviously that we have the martial art biz, and when we get the people in the door, when we make that connection, they immediately take a tour. They become aligned, like with, hey, we can help them. Now we do things like Google AdWords and things like that. So I'm trying to think, what would your suggestion be of getting our alignment out without sounding all metaphysical? Because Jed knows this too, and Antonio, that martial arts is a lot more than just punching, kicking, and hitting people. It's about spiritual, emotional, and physical development. And I guess maybe when I do my ads or I do my videos, I'm almost too desperate for them to come in because we can serve them. what would be a little bit of advice on how to get a message out there that to like our avatar, because it's really not one. We have them like from 30 to 77. So I can't say that we have a 35 because the right person walks in the door. But how would we do that, like through a blog post or a YouTube video with clarity and like being sincere? That would be, I know it's a big ask, but I'm just trying to figure how to stop focusing on the outcome and just share, but we'll get a message out there to people that, need us.
What is something that you guys do very, very well that you're proud of that separates you from other people that do something similar?
Well, we're adult only, and community. So we're working on like self-defense, but basically it's fitness and martial arts self-defense for working professionals, people that are like maybe played previous sports. They're looking for the martial arts but don't want to like play the Karate Kid game, although Cobra Kai is a cool show. That they're looking for a stress outlet. They're looking for a community, and we have that out there in different mediums, but it's really hard to figure out which one they're resonating with because Google's it's hard to track all this stuff.
And our vibe is different.
Yeah, and our vibe is different. I mean, you've seen me in person, Jet seeing me and Antonio. Like, I mean, the energy on the floor is awesome, but it's almost like, how do we get our avatar to find us? That's the challenge we're having because when we get people in here, they love us, but they don't want to tell their friends. And I'm like, I want to choke them, but that's the old Alan. But as they almost are at first afraid to tell people that are working on themselves. So later on, they'll write a testimonial, but like right at first, everybody's like, hey, get a referral. But it's personal to them at first because they don't want to admit why they're really there, including guys. Guys are there for self-confidence. So it's kind of like a little bit of probably a separate.
The first thing that's coming to mind is that the people around you begin to change when you begin to claim your position. So Cheryl said that you guys' vibe is a little bit different. So I would turn the volume up on that, on
Okay.
your vibe, on your uniqueness, and share that everywhere, wherever it is, whatever platforms you guys are on. Do you have an email list? Do you post content? Are you around people that can utilize your community? Where are people that are looking for a community? Where do they hang out? How can you be in front of them and showcase what you guys do differently, your vibe compared to everybody else, and claim your position with that? How can you get creative to even just generate an influx of people to come by and just see what you're up to? Like, can you do like a giveaway or a special Saturday workout or just something that gets a lot of people in the door? And then once they catch a vibe, they're going to want to go deeper and sign up with you.
Yeah, good idea. We've been talking about that, but it's hard to advertise free because sometimes you get some chuckleheads. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Come in and then that's where my young son Liam takes care of them. But it's weird because like we said, we had a 30-year-old woman that was in yesterday, and then we had a 62-year-old guy, both there for the same reason. So it's like it's kind of hard where we're at. And I think a lot of it's because we need to get more clarity, and everything you do helps us. I appreciate you, my brother. You're awesome.
Love you too. But something that's coming through is if you have people with that big of a gap, that's a good problem to have because then you can create two different products that serve those different criterias. Now, we want to get more people in so you can separate them and have two things to offer because it makes sense that maybe those two wouldn't be in the same class.
Well, they kind of are, which is great because, like, I don't want to take up everybody's time, but like during the day we have like 16 people, and they range from overnight workers to 50 to 77-year-old retirees, and they all love hanging out with each other.
Oh, so that
And
is
I don't know how it happened, except it just happened.
Yeah.
so that's good then. If you want that,
Yeah.
even better.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're just trying to get the message a little bit bigger and broader.
So I want to challenge you guys to get a little bit more uncomfortable this week, be in front of a little bit more people, and create something that can get people to see what you're up to. And then from there, I know you guys will do your thing and you'll have more signups.
Right. Awesome.
Great to see you guys. Love you.
Thank you. Love you.
Danielle, great to see you.
Hey, Craig. So nice to see you. Hello,
Hey, you.
everybody. So I just wanted to address the finding your dreams. There may be people on this call that haven't landed on that yet, and to please be gentle with yourself. I just found mine. It took me 59 years to figure it out, but I've got it, and it's exploding, and it's very exciting. But just be gentle with yourself because not everyone in high school has already figured out what they want to be when they grow up. And adding the pressure of I should know what I should be doing. I'm this age, or I've got these kids. I should have this figured out already. Egads, that's just adding more trauma and drama onto trauma and drama, and you don't need that. So just please be gentle with yourself. That's what I
I'm,
wanted to add.
I'm just confused how it could take you 59 years if you only look 35.
Yeah. Good one. Good one.
No,
Thank
I'm dead
you.
serious. You look amazing.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for the share. Great nugget. To add on to that, I would say to everybody, look, I wish that I had a different consciousness and had teachers, and I was more open to having teachers and supporters with me at a younger age to an extent, but I wouldn't change a thing on my journey because I believe it all unfolded exactly it's supposed to. So you should be seeking and being curious about what you're curious about and yearning for something more, but you also have to surrender and relinquish control and allow. So definitely be intentional, but don't force yourself into the ground without allowing and surrendering because that defeats the purpose. So I think there's definitely a healthy balance there. And for sure, give yourself grace. And whoever's just on this call today is on the call because they're obviously yearning and desire something a little bit more. And that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Mora. Hey, you.
Hi. I just want to say so many wonderful things are happening. God bless you for being in my life because I totally transformed. I read his book. We're doing some creative things with his book. He's an amazing human being. I want to know, like, how'd you get those downloads at first? That's what I'm still like, things are coming to be great, but how did you receive them or what more can I do to receive more downloads?
Honestly, one of my favorite questions ever. Love that you asked this. And this is really the key, guys, is to put yourself in a position where you can begin to connect to whatever it is that you feel comfortable calling it. Not the type of call for today. Like I said, I would say creator. Someone might say divine, universe, Jesus, whatever your thing is, but you have to create the white space in order to connect. And then once you begin to connect, ask powerful questions, not just for the sake of asking a question, because oftentimes we ask questions for what we want to hear, not what we need to hear. That's where a good coach comes in and pushes the envelope a little bit. So ask questions, whether you're meditating, connecting, doing your thing, whatever's good for you, and you'll receive the answers. Maybe not on the spot, but the universe will begin to move the chess pieces around the chessboard for you. Remember, that energy is absolutely endless. So how do we connect to an endless force? Is we have to become limitless to channel that energy. And that energy will reveal its secrets, the divine downloads, a tug at the heart, the right person in the elevator at the wrong time. We're watching a movie, we hear the perfect nugget, sets us on a new path. So we have to be able to find time to connect, expand our vessel, also known as our capacity to receive, and be intentional with creating that relationship with whatever it is that you guys subscribe to that's bigger than you. And be very intentional. Ask the questions, be specific, and then allow and surrender and see what transpires and what unfolds. But for anyone on this call today, I cannot stress it enough. Whatever your relationship is with that, double down.
That's amazing, Craig. Thank you. That's really helpful.
Yeah. Love
Appreciate
you.
it.
Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. All right, guys. So as we get to wrap up today, remember, you have to be brave. And if you really have to make sure to ask the question and then completely let go. This is how we let the light in. It's a system, it's a technology, it's universal laws. And we cannot limit ourselves in any capacity. We talked about a lot of different things today. We were very tactical in regards to identifying the difference between success and significance, how to start to cultivate purpose. And if you guys really want to go to your next level, then we have to have that courage to pivot. It's one thing to come, it's another thing to bet on yourself and to really take inspired action. So, love you guys very much. We're going to do some giveaways. For any of you guys that are not in the texting community, just text the number at the bottom of the screen, your favorite nugget from today, and Brittany will select two, and we'll send a free signed copy of our book, The Reinvention Woman, to two people. Amy, it's great to have you here. Yes, we'll be recording. And guys, in regards to the 4 steps to reinvention, like I said, it's very, very affordable. Don't let money get in the way. Reach out to anyone on the team if you have any concerns. I'm sure there's not, but we're going to get very, very deep. It's going to be a great little incubator there, great people to connect with, and get very specific on evaluating where we are. What are the goals? What is the execution plan? And instead of just going and listening to the podcast and going to the events, how do we get to that next level? What do we need to do? What comfort zone do we need to leave? What are the ideas that we're not seeing? The idea of a good coach or teacher is to point out the blind spots, right? And so 2025 is right around the corner. You cannot convince me as to why it cannot be your greatest fear yet. Abundance, fulfillment, significance, relationships, money, and everything in between. But there's got to be awakening of the desire. I want that for myself. And then the willingness to push the envelope and make some moves towards that. So I hope that was helpful. This was a lot of fun, guys. We don't really do stuff like this very often. And I'm really happy that we did, because I think this is a real cool, juicy topic. And I just think that it was hopefully very helpful for you guys. And I know, people are signing up for the course and so forth. That's cool too. And just great to be with you guys today. Love the energy. I love the engagement. I want to acknowledge you guys. You were amazing today. And I'm sure there's much more things, we can do in each other's worlds and so forth. And then Britt, is there anything you wanted to add before we wrap up and hop off?
I would just say that take everything you gave today and don't be afraid to, like, it feels so good, but you got to stay like close to the fire. That's why community is so important. Making the decision to do the next thing is really important. And so I just hope you all come do this 4 weeks with us, because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're going to get absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Guys, the best thing that I did 4 years ago was I started to take inspired action when I felt called, and I listened to those tugs at the soul. One thing led to the other. One door was open, another light was revealed, and married, marathons, impact, financial abundance, all the stuff is the byproduct of it. So that's that. Love you guys very much, and great to be here. And you guys all stayed on to the end. It's unbelievable. I know that usually doesn't happen. I'm grateful that you guys showed up and that engaged, and I can't wait to go deeper with you guys. And Bert, if you want to drop the link one last time, and then we'll wrap up. And I love you guys. So there's that. All right, guys, let's have a
Thank you so
great
much.
rest of the day, and we'll all chat
It
soon.
was legendary. Thank you so much.
Love you guys.